Good morning, and we're still here at St. Vladimir's Seminary, St. Vladimir's, and I had promised to give a little view of the church itself, and I want to see if the door is unlocked and take us inside, take a look at the icons. There's a mosaic above the main entrance of the three hierarchs. The church is named for the three hierarchs, and I think they're replacing that with one that fills it in a little better or something, this mosaic. The nice Russian bells we heard yesterday, I think we'll listen to them again a little. Don't want to ring them too loudly or people think there's a fire or something, but Russian bells have a particular sound. To them. We'll see if we can get into the church if the door is unlocked, and we'll give you a little tour. We might add something from our Theology Made Simple as we go. I'm not too sure what subject to cover next. Some people had asked questions about theosis and its effect and when it takes effect and what it does. So we'll probably touch on that as well in our broadcasts today sometime. But this is the interior of the church. And it's very North American style, although it, of course, fulfills kind of Byzantine structure. And it's nice because there are no pews in the church. And the icon of the three hierarchs with the relics on them is, of course, a central feature of it. And I think they're having subdeacons training or something going on, so we shan't try not to interrupt too much. But some of the viewers asked me whilst I was here to give them a view of the interior of the church, so I wanted to tell them it's a nice, proper style, but has a North American flair to it, and that's rather nice too. So we wanted to
definitely
introduce them a little.
Well, definitely. We'll just stay out of your way.
Father, what's your name? I forgot.
Maximus.
Maximus. Are you from Louisiana?
No, actually, originally from Trinidad and Tobago in the West
Trinidad
Indies.
and Tobago. Okay.
And then more recently, Michigan, Kalamazoo.
Oh, really? Okay, that's nice. It's also interesting for the viewers to learn that as well.
Definitely.
So glad you're here.
Thank you.
And this gentleman is from the Holy Land.
New Jersey.
No,
Yes.
no.
That is the Holy Land.
No, Serbia.
Yes. No, certainly not. Certainly not.
Heavenly Serbia.
Yes.
The icons are interesting as well. They're a little bit, I don't know what, impressionistic or something, but anyway, they're unique. So, thank you. And the other two questions that were asked about the broadcast were about theosis, and I wanted to continue with that, but keep it simple enough, because this is, after all, Theology Made Simple. And I have to step outside so I don't disturb this class that's taking place. But, somebody asked me when was theology becomes theosis become an actual fact. I'm going to say look at the three parts of the Orthodox Church. Divided into three parts. Usually we would baptize people in the vestibule. And we would call that purification, illumination, and glorification. The fact is, illumination takes place in mutual concordant worship in the main part of the church. So remember the divisions of the Old Testament tabernacle and the divisions of the Orthodox Church. The three parts in the Old Testament temple as well. And those three parts were also purification, illumination, and glorification. Remember that the Holy of Holies was closed off by a curtain, and yet God said He would fellowship with men there. So the altar of the church is also slightly walled off, or depending on which church you're in, greatly walled off, but it's also a type of paradise. And God fellowshiped with mankind in the Garden of Eden. He would, as it said, walk with them in the cool of the evenings. And he said that he would fellowship with man in the Holy of Holies, in the tabernacle, because man was closed out of paradise, and yet paradise was placed before him in the Holy of Holies in the hope of his return to paradise. And the same is true of the Orthodox Church. We seek illumination through mutual concordant worship because one Christian is no Christian. We worship as a community in a way that we can learn to fulfill Christ's commandment that we love one another, that we love our neighbor as ourselves, that we have love amongst ourselves, and that we worship mutually so that we become of one heart and one mind in the faith. And we look into paradise in the service because we have the expectation that we'll return to paradise through Jesus Christ. And that's glorification. So the fullness of theosis, the fullness of becoming partakers of the divine nature, as Peter promises us, it is really when we enter into paradise, after the resurrection of the general resurrection. But in the meantime, we, to a lesser or greater degree, absorb this process of theosis. The great saints of the church and wonder workers obviously have received that gift to a greater degree. For whatever reason, God has chosen to give it. And we all receive to a certain degree that gift through faith of theosis. And we move toward it constantly and steadily in this life. And if you'll notice that when we have a funeral service, the coffin is always with the feet toward the open royal gates. We never serve a funeral with closed royal gates or with a closed coffin unless there's some extreme reason, because we serve the funeral together with the person who's departed, not for the person who's departed. And we face them toward the sanctuary of eternity, that is, toward the open royal gates toward paradise. And even by doing that, we confess that the fullness of theosis, the fullness of our redemption, is given to us as a gift after we depart this life. So when we ask, when does theosis take place? How much can we experience it here already? Different people to a different degree, depending on the condition of their own heart and their mind, to what degree they've oriented their souls, oriented themselves toward the will of God, and to what degree they've learned unselfish love and co-suffering love for mankind. These are all parts of theosis, all parts of moving forward toward that deification that we hope for. Because part of deification is learning true compassion, true co-suffering love for mankind. This is a part of the nature of God, is love, unselfish love, pure unselfish love. And that's part of our ascent toward paradise and our ascent toward theosis as well. So we experience it little by little in this life. No vessel is filled beyond its capacity to where it would break. God gives his gifts of grace and fills each vessel according to the capacity of that vessel to hold that grace without being broken. And we each are a vessel shaped and formed by God. And God knows himself the strength of each vessel at any given time and how much that vessel can bear in order to not be shattered and yet bear the grace of theosis and the grace to help other people in one way or another. Because always the gifts of grace one receives are there to be shared with others and to be shared in humility and meekness, so that we might serve also for the salvation of others, as Apostle Paul did. And whether this answers all of the question or not, that's what I'm going to give you to talk about theosis when it is experienced, how it's experienced, and when the fullness of it is actually experienced, when we come into paradise. Because the two gifts at the end are everlasting life and participation in the present glory of God himself. And to stand in the glory of God and see and understand and sense and feel it completely, this is after the general resurrection. So thank you all, and God bless you.